Hello there, fellow Scorpios. Welcome, welcome. We are beginning your August in-depth tarot forecast. And so for this to go in-depth, I want to break it down into 4 parts. So this first section that we're getting ready to start is going to cover August 1st through August the 8th. And we're just going to see what comes up for us. Hopefully some good stuff. I think everybody's ready for good stuff now, right? We've had it better than a lot of the other signs, so we really can't complain. Can we? All right, fellow Scorpios, let's start with our environment. Now, environment is any place where we have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, but it might be somewhere else as well. So you just want to keep your mind open as to where I might be talking about as I go through this information. It does look like this time we are talking about the home environment. That's actually very clearly indicated in the cards. And it looks like we are spending some money on the home environment, and we're a little stressed out. We're taking out money that we had stashed away to spend in the home environment. And so I think we're a little bit stressed. To me, the idea that we're stressed if we're spending money probably means that this is an unexpected expense that we're dealing with here. So spending money sometime during the 1st through the 8th on the environment to the point that we're stressing out a little bit. Okay, let's look next at our subconscious leanings. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Oh, we are really not that interested in love, and we are, maybe I shouldn't say that. Because our subconscious is definitely thinking about love, but what we're thinking about is that we're not interested. If there's somebody making some kind of romantic gesture towards us, we're not really interested. It looks like that person may be somebody who we see as more of a trickster than somebody who's genuine. And I think we're actually a little bit enraged. I was checking to see if enraged is too strong of a word, but I think we're a little bit enraged at this other person's offer. There's something about an offer that somebody is making to us in our personal lives that we are taking as completely inappropriate, and probably we're taking as disrespectful. Okay. This doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic situation, although I think for most of us it is. This could also be something having to do with a friendship or a family situation where we think somebody's a little bit shady and they're making us some kind of offer. We're turning away from it. We're saying, no, thank you. That's a nice offer, but I know ahead of time that's going to deplete me and wear me down, and I just don't have time for it. I just don't have time for it. Some of you, I feel like you're saying, I can't afford a relationship right now. And that's not just the male Scorpios. I think there's a lot of female Scorpios just telling themselves, I just can't afford a relationship right now. We end up spending a lot of time supporting the other person in a relationship, and we just are not wanting to put out that energy and that effort, especially when we feel like the person coming to us for that is a trickster. Somebody who's not shooting it straight. And so I think, we're just walking away from, in our subconscious minds, we are walking away from it. We're walking away from tricksters. who try to take advantage of us because of our feelings. That's what our subconscious is working on. La da 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 da. Let's look next. That's kind of exciting. Let's look next at learning style and also communication style. I think that a lot of the information that we're picking up during this time frame, we're picking it up because we're just happily looking at information, things that we're curious about or things that we're excited about knowing, we're finding out. I think a lot of the information that we're picking up, we're finding out through hanging out with friends and talking with people, through interactions with other people. And some of the information that we're picking up because we're making preparations for something else. And as we're making preparations for something, information is just coming out that's going to be useful for much more than just that particular circumstance. Now, communication style. We are definitely communicating quite a bit during this time frame, fellow Scorpios. I feel like there's definitely, excuse me. I think that's got to be like one of the very few times I've hit the mute button in time to sneeze. So excuse me, let's see. Communication is what we're talking about. We are communicating quite a bit. And I think that we are communicating about the idea of abundance or celebration or having plenty of something. And I also think that some of the things that we're communicating about are coming up deeply out of our subconscious and coming up to the surface. So sometimes when that happens, that's not necessarily something that's planned, is it? It could be that we're in the middle of a conversation and all of a sudden we have this realization as we hear ourselves say the realization. This can also be if somebody triggers us. We may come up with how we're really feeling and not have really realized or taken time to think about how we were really feeling about something. And we may come out with that when somebody says something to us that makes us we just react. We just have a reaction without thinking. So I do think that that is possible. But for the most part, we have pretty good communication going on here, and we're able to communicate about the really deep things. We're able to communicate about abundance, and we're communicating plenty, which means we don't have people around us whining and crying because, well, we didn't invite them to something or we didn't tell them this detail they needed to know or whatever. Okay? La da 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 da. Okay, guys, next we're looking at work. And for me, if you've been with me a while, you know that work comes up for me as two different things. Two. Remember that old dating show? I can't remember the host now. Love Connection or something like that. And the host would always say, we'll be back in 2 and 2, talking about 2 minutes and 2 seconds. I don't know what made me think of that. Anyway, that's double twos. We may have 2 or 4 love connections showing up during this week. Wouldn't that be interesting? All right. Let's look at work, shall we? Quit being distracted. Let's look at work. Distracted by random messages. La da 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 da, la da da da. We do have a lot on our plates at work, and we are working on balancing it all out. I think that we have spent some time really kind of sorting out what it is that we want from work, what it is we're willing to bring to the table at work. And I think that we are realizing that where we are now as far as work is not exactly what our goal is or what our target is, what we actually want. So we're coming to that realization. At the same time, we are incredibly busy when it comes to work. Now let's look at inner work. those things that we do to improve our character, to make us happier with who we are. La da 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 da, la da da da. I think that a lot of us Scorpios may be kind of pushing ourselves to get out more and to be more open in society. Now, obviously, with the COVID going on, that's not necessarily literally, but that could be electronically, that we're pushing ourselves to learn about electronic media around more people. But I do think that we are pushing ourselves towards excuse me while I silence that. So we're pushing ourselves more towards that of finding ways to be social, of finding ways to communicate with people, in spite of the idea that we can't communicate so much in person or so practically in person. We're finding ways to communicate with them otherwise, and that's our inner work. I think that we're a little bit, for some of us, a little bit shy or a little bit intimidated about that. I can tell you that when I first started coming on YouTube, I found it a little bit intimidating to learn everything I needed to know about how to get a video up here. And this is kind of what this comes across to me as. This is something like that, where I think you're maybe a little intimidated or overwhelmed, some of you, some of us, about ways of communicating with other people. You know, whether it's Zoom, or I think Google has a new camera phone app. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Lots of new options. And so I think the inner work is really overcoming that trepidation and figuring out how to make it work. And then also there's that whole facet of the dynamics of things. The dynamics are different when you're in person than they are when you're on camera with a bunch of people. And so part of that is learning about those dynamics as well. It is also part of that inner work. La da, la da da da. Okay, let's look and see where your personality is being expanded as we go through this particular time frame, fellow Scorpios. La da la da da da. Okay. So, fellow Scorpios. I think there's a situation that we are not happy with. And I think that this has to do with our sense of legacy, or what we could be leaving to other people. What kind of, even if we're not leaving it in an inheritance, like what kind of impression are we making on other people? How are we impacting the people in our sphere of influence? What kind of impact are we having on their lives? Is it a positive one? Is it one that just depletes them? What is our impact? And even with ourselves, I think we're also looking at, you know, what are we doing to ourselves long term? What are we doing for ourselves long term? Are we building ourselves up, or are we breaking ourselves down? And so as we're examining this, I think that we're not very happy with some of the things that we're finding. And so we are basically preparing to go to war. Not with another person. Not war with another person. We're preparing to go to war in that we're preparing to really take action to turn things around so that we can leave a positive legacy behind, whether it's financial or whether it is the legacy that we leave in our interactions with our sphere of influence. We are realizing that we're not happy with what we have been doing, and we're turning that around. We're making some serious changes now. I think this is pretty heavy duty. We have definitely got the determination and the willpower to do it. All right, next thing that we're looking at. What does this talk to me about? Those things that we stand for. Oh, Scorpio. This is kind of something I've been waiting for a while. I don't know about y'all. This has to do with a partnership that has fallen apart, and the idea that we are now looking beyond that partnership. We're not stuck in that rut of thinking about that to the point that we're not able to move forward. We are out of that rut. We are moving forward. We're feeling good. We're doing our thing. And I think somebody is going to want us to go back to that partnership and continue on and pick up where we left off as if there was no break in that partnership. And we are defending the idea that, nope, not doing it. Not going to do that. Now, how do other people perceive us? How does this who can, we've had to stand up for this decision. So somebody's confronted us on this decision. Probably the person that we said, nope, not going to do it. How are they seeing us? Okay, they're seeing us as somebody who has very clearly made a logical decision that really can't be disputed. They're seeing us that we've made up our mind and that is not changing. They're seeing us as somebody who wants some type of even, equilateral partnership. And I think they're also feeling like their position with us is not a good one. They're recognizing that their position with us is not a good one, that they've basically already proven that they're not good with the even equilateral partnership. But at the same time that they know that their position is not a good one, they also have the sense that this is just a cycle or just a phase, and that in a few days or in a few hours or in a few months, in a little while, that things will change and that we'll be more open to the idea of partnering back up with this person again. So they're really kind of taking a lot for granted there about us. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right. Next, we are looking at the pivot point or the flex point during this time frame, which is going to be the point where things start to change. Fellow Scorpios, we have really got money handled. We've got money going. We're rocking the money scene here. I like this. We're rocking money and finances, material goods. We have everything that we need. We're cool. Remember, earlier in the week, we saw the environment. We were spending money that we had stashed away, and we were all stressed out about it. I'm really happy to see this a little bit later in the week of, you know what, we've got everything we need. We're cool. We're cool. Now, we're still feeling pretty pessimistic about any type of personal relationship offer that's coming in, but we're not fighting about it. We're not getting involved in any kind of drama or push-pull there. We're just sort of letting that whole idea sit because we really don't want to do anything with that. With that offer, we don't want to take it up. Excuse me, but we also don't want to waste our energy fighting. So we're just, I can't even say that I see that we're cutting this person off, which is kind of our go-to move. I don't think we're even cutting this person off. We're just not really responsive. Okay. Alrighty. What's going on at the same time? We are basically making a commitment to ourselves that we're not going to go back to that offer that was on the table. We're making a strong commitment to ourselves that we are not going to do that. We're not going to go to that collaboration. We are not going to bring that thing back from the past and resurrect it. We have basically done a pinky swear with ourselves that that is not going to happen. Pinky swear. Pinky promise. We've made ourselves a pinky promise. We're not going to go back into that situation. What else is going on while we've got this money happening? We're not fighting even though somebody is trying to make us some kind of offer of partnership in our personal lives. We're working. We are working, and we've got some really great ideas about work, and we're following up on those great ideas. And what's this other card talking about? Oh. And so this other card is basically saying that even though this other person is offering us partnership, we're done. We're cutting that off. The reason we're working, the reason we're having so many inspired ideas as we're working is because we have that time, we have that energy, because we're not paying attention to this personal thing over here. We're actually using this work that we're excited about, that we feel great about, that we're feeling ambitious about. We're actually using that to distract us from being tempted into anything over here on the personal side with that person that's trying to get us to partner back up with them. I like it. All right, what else? Where do we see ourselves, fellow Scorpios, towards the end of this time frame? Yeah. We are basically... Okay, I'm just going to say, I think this is a love relationship for most of us. All right? But we're basically telling somebody, you know what? I don't want to put any energy or effort into this relationship. I think we've been around this merry-go-round with this person before. We don't feel like it's worth our time, energy, or effort. No matter how much we care about them, we've made a logical decision and we're sticking with it here. We're not making any kind of plans for the future with them. They may be trying to say, well, you know, why don't we go to the rodeo together? Or why don't you let me take you out to dinner? Or, you know, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do Netflix and chill? Why don't we just hang out? You know, whatever. We're like, nah, I'm busy. Nah, I've got work to do. Thanks for the offer, but, you know, I've got to make this video tonight. Thanks for the offer, but, you know, I've got an appointment I have to go to for work. You know, whatever it is, we're not making any plans with them. So it's interesting because we have this person really showing up strongly in this spread, especially towards the end of the spread, and we're just like, we're showing up just as strongly as they're showing up and showing up and showing up. We're showing up just as strongly, going RESPECT. Where was it? Not inviting you back in. All right, so that covers that first part of August for us Scorpios. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, take a break, come back, and we'll look at the next part. Thank you for being here. Hello again, Scorpios. Welcome back. This is going to be for the time frame August 9th through August 15th to see what comes up. Well, look at that. We just had our card fly out. Female Scorpios. Sorry for the 3% of you guys who are males watching. Still, it is a water sign royalty, mature person. We could still consider that your card. We are going to go ahead and take that card since it did fly out as I was talking to us. This is the only video where I can say as I was talking to us. Let's see, what were we saying? We are covering the time frame from August 9th through the 15th this time. Just seeing what's going to happen as we progress through the month. La da da da. Okay, cards are on the board. Let's see what comes up for us first in environment, which is any place where we have energy or effort invested. course, that Queen of Cups that we had that indicates us did show up, and that came down in the environment slot. And so that tells me that we are very firmly, we're dominant in our environment. La da da da. There's something going on here. We're making some kind of transition whenever it comes to our environment, because we are letting off some kind of responsibilities, and we are putting in effort and energy in another direction in our environment. So this could be moving from one place to another place for the environment. This could also be maybe we've completed working on some kind of rehab project in the environment, and now we're starting on a new one. But there's definitely there's something that we are putting down as far as responsibilities in the environment, and there's also another place where we are putting in energy and effort now. We are the dominant person in our environment. We are dominating the decision-making processes there. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Okay, looking at subconscious leanings. So with our subconscious leanings, there is something coming up about our support network or our friends, especially if we're related to somebody who's a female earth sign. If we're interacting with someone who's a female earth sign, could be, but if it's not a female earth sign, this is going to be somebody who is not immature, they're more mature, and somebody who is very comfortable in their resources and very good with their money and likes to share the good things that they have. And there is a little bit of impatience here. I think we're feeling a little bit impatient with that person, and I think that person is a part of our support network or a part of our group of friends. And so our subconscious is working on, okay, is this really legitimate? Is it really fair for me to be impatient with this person? What's going on? Why am I feeling this way? So our subconscious is really taking a good look at that. Next thing that we have coming up, we're going to look at learning style during this particular time frame. Looks like finding new information is coming pretty easy to us during this time frame. We have a lot of intuition, but there's also that's information that just is like an open book right in front of us. So that's all cool. I think that we are finding out some things, and some of the things that we're finding out are actually beautiful. But anything that we want to know really is pretty easy for us to find during this time frame. We don't have anybody playing games or messing with us as far as the truth or not the truth type of thing. La da 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 da. Now let's look at communication style. I think our communication may be a little bit hampered, especially when it comes to long distance communication. So in other words, like online communication, emails, video chats, phone calls, things like that. That may be a little bit hampered, especially whenever it comes to long distances. So we want to just be aware. Just be aware. We might have to take some kind of action to correct that at some point during this time frame. Looking next at work. Oh, baby, baby. We may have been taking a break from work, and this is yeah, we may have been taking a break from work. We may have been taking a break from work actually to literally move. But I do think that this break is over. And I think that we are pretty tired, but we have a lot of things that we are ambitious about getting accomplished. And so even though we're tired, we're calling this break over, and we are getting ourselves to work at some point during the time of August 9th through the 15th or during that week. Now let's look at inner work, fellow Scorpios. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da. I do think that we have thought some things over that we have new insights on that we didn't have before. I think that those new insights may not exactly thrill us, but we have a plan. We have a plan about making those things into things that are a little more thrilling for us, about turning things around and making them better. So that's the inner work. And we are taking action on that plan as well. Now, looking at that part of our personality, which is grown or expanded right now. What is going on here? Somebody is making some kind of decision about us that is fair, that is good. We're getting what we deserve here. And this, I think this is a decision that we've been waiting for somebody to make for a long time. And so now that decision has been made, and it has been made in our favor. Wow, I like that. That's where our personality is growing or expanding. Are we so unused to things going in our favor that we actually have to have lessons about letting things go in our favor, Scorpios? That's where we're growing. That's where we're growing. All right, fellow Scorpios, let's look next at those things that we stand for during this time frame. Oh, we have really, really had a change of heart when it comes to personal relationship. Or maybe this is a different personal relationship. There is somebody coming in that's making us some kind of offer of friendship or of love. This is somebody from the past, though, too. And the reason I say it's from the past is because my card that talks about giving somebody a second chance comes up right here. So somebody is making an offer and we're giving them a second chance. So this may very well be the person that we saw in the last time frame that we were like, no, 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 no. Where was the RESPECT? They've worn us down. We are giving this person a second chance, and I think that we are really focusing on giving this opportunity a fair run for its money. We're not trying to just give lip service to the idea of giving this person a second chance. We are really trying to see if this will work this time around or not. So somebody actually has confronted us about this. Not too surprising, considering we were so against this before, that somebody would confront us about this. And we're defending that. We're defending that decision. All right. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of scares me. Let's see, though. Let's look at August 9th through the 15th. We are still looking at how other people perceive us. What is that? Wow. Okay. So, first of all, who is this person that sees us that way? This is the person that we had to defend letting this relationship start back up again. And they are feeling like we're worn down. We just don't have any energy anymore. They're also feeling like, we're not using our brain cells here. El stupido is what I'm actually literally hearing as I'm looking at these cards. And they're just feeling like we're just done. We're toast. That's what they feel like. They feel like, can you say self-sabotage? That's how they're feeling about this decision that we've made to give somebody a second chance. All right, so obviously that's going to be quite controversial when we do that. We're not afraid of controversy, are we? Okay, next thing that I'm looking at is the flex point or the pivot point as we go through this week. There is a lot of stress that's showing up here for us as we plan for the future. And I think that stress has us feeling less self-confident than usual. Or maybe it's that we're feeling less self-confident that's making us feel more stressed out. Maybe a vicious circle. But I do see that we are working on planning for the future here. But this is really stressful to do that for us. I think we're, actually what I'm picking up is we're pretty scared as we plan for the future. We're really scared that we're going to end up in a situation where we feel like our strength, our freedom, our empowerment has been taken away from us as we're planning for the future. So it looks like we're kind of holding our nose and jumping in that water, even though we're pretty well, I'm going to say it, terrified. Terrified. Beautiful. What else is going on while we're jumping in the water terrified? What else? There's a lot of communication going on, and this communication, I think this communication is causing some confusion. There's actually a lot of fighting going on. Maybe that's why we're feeling so stressed out about planning for the future. Maybe we're not sure we want to spend our future fighting. What else is happening? No, no, no. So the other thing that's happening is this person that we're giving a second chance to, they're breadcrumbing us. We are putting a lot more energy and effort into the second chance than they are. And considering how much they wanted it and how much they bugged us about getting it, you would think they would be putting energy and effort into it. They're not. They are not. And I think that we are going a little bit into pity party mode over this because we're like, this just isn't even right. Like I knew better than to give this person a second chance, and now look what I'm putting up with. This is some baloney. But I think that our person doesn't even realize that what they're doing is wrong. Like they don't realize, they don't comprehend that what they're doing is not actually treating us right. I see the meeting of the minds coming, don't you guys? There's gonna be a meeting of the minds here. So when we get to the end of this week, what we have coming up is we are really taking a lot of our energy to cut things off with this person. We gave them a second chance. We started focusing on them and nobody else. And now we're saying, you know what? Done. 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 Not doing this anymore. That's where we find ourselves at the end of this week. We are done with that second chance. It didn't succeed. The other person's just breadcrumbing their input. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. And it's taking a lot of our effort to be able to do this. So I think we do have some kind of attachment here that's really sucking us in, that has some momentum because we really wanted this to work. So it's taking all of our energy to really look at this logically and to say, you know what, I might love you to the moon and back, but I'm not putting up with this silliness. You're out. Out. Not doing it. That's where I see us ending the week. What an interesting week. What an interesting first half of the month. All right, fellow Scorpios, let me wrap this up, and I'll take a little break, come back, and we'll look at the next week. Hello there, fellow Scorpios. Welcome back. This time what we're hitting is August 16th through the 22nd to see what is going to be going on in our lives during that time. Let's find out. Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Not so thrilled with some of the cards I'm seeing so far. Let's see how it turns out, though. All right, fellow Scorpios, looking at our environment to start off with, any place where we have energy or effort invested. There has definitely been some truth that has come out around our environment, and I think that it has to do with somebody who is, I think this may be the person we've given the second chance to, who is not putting in any energy or effort, and quite frankly, they have a really bad attitude. And I think that we are taking action around this. Like, we have definitely, when we hear this truth, when this truth comes up, I think we are definitely taking some action to start to bring things around to right. La da da. Let's see what happens in our subconscious while this is going on. We're looking again at that idea of legacy. I think we were looking at that in our subconscious before. I don't know if it was last time frame or the first time frame. And we're looking at the impact that we could be making on the people around us. And we're looking at how there's so many options of so many different things that we could do to make an impact on the people around us. And we are really wanting to focus on that legacy. We're wanting to really zone in with laser focus on creating that legacy that we want to create. We don't want to be distracted. We don't want to have other things going on in our lives that are distracting us from leaving the legacy that we want to leave. And so that's what is on our subconscious mind. How do we stay focused? How do we not let those distractions make a difference? So, learning style. I think we're getting a really huge epiphany during this time frame. It may come through meditation, but it's definitely going to be sudden knowledge. And this could have to do with that truth that came out around our environment that we saw before. But this is going to be sudden knowledge that really brings us clarity and helps us to make a decision moving forward. So we definitely have information coming in, and we're also understanding a little bit more about who we are as well in the big scheme of things. And we have some ideas that we're looking at. We're getting information about those too. So lots of information actually coming in, and our communication. Our communication is definitely rock solid. We're not changing what it is that we're saying. We're maintaining everything just exactly. We're not changing our mind. We're not changing what we say. We're not saying one thing to one person and one thing to another. It's rock solid. Okay? I think that our communication is also very well grounded. There's a little bit of emotion in it, but we're not letting emotion take over. We want to kind of keep everything on a level playing field. Yep. And I think that we are relying somewhat on our intuition and on our own strength. We have pretty strong intuition, guys, and we're relying on that gut instinct or that intuition to help us in our communication with the people who are in our sphere of influence during this time frame. All right, next let's look at work. Workity, work, 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 work. We're not feeling very happy at work during this particular time frame, and part of the reason why we're not feeling very happy is because even though we're doing fine financially, we're abundant. We've got financial things under control. We are dealing with somebody who is on the narcissistic side. They're somebody who likes to be in control, and they'll do whatever it is to take control, whether that is lying, whether that's being manipulative, whatever kind of illusions that they need to create to get you to do what they want you to do. That's what they're going to do. And so this is somebody that we're interacting with at work or in the work environment. And so even though we're abundant and we're feeling good about, that part of things, we're not really enjoying this time with this narcissistic type personality. Inner work. Inner work really is for us to face our feelings right now, face the things where we're not happy and not hide from those, face the things where we feel like we're not in control of our lives. And our inner work is to figure out, okay, is it okay if I'm not in control of that part of my life, or is that something I need to take control of? If I'm not happy about things that other people are controlling, maybe I should take control. And so inner work is really about figuring out, okay, how do I balance out who has control of what in a way that's fair and that makes sense for me and for the people around me. La da 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 da. Okay, fellow Scorpios, next we're looking at that part of our personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Isn't this interesting? So we've got some kind of heartache or heartbreak showing up here. And this is showing up because we're looking at the truth of a matter. We're not just accepting what other people are saying, and we're not just accepting, words wrapped in charm. We're looking at the truth of the matter, and we're seeing that this is a sad state of events. Once again, I still see that money is good. The fact that money is good, and we're still running into these issues makes me wonder, for those of us who work at home, a lot of times things that come up about work apply to home too. This makes me wonder if this person, well, but they shouldn't still be in the picture. Hopefully, if we really got rid of them last time frame. I just feel like there's somebody around us who is more focused on money and on material goods. But that's not what they're saying they're focused on. They're giving us the impression that they're really focused on us, whether it's a friendship or a romantic thing or whatever. They're trying to give us the impression that, that it's all about feelings and emotions and it's about us. But really, I think we're finding out that for them, it's about the money. And I don't feel like money's bad. I feel like money is really in a good space for us, fellow Scorpios, but we're seeing some things. We're seeing some things in how this person acts. We're seeing in how they react. We're seeing in things in how they ask questions. And we're realizing that this person is really focused big time on money and on material goods, and that's not really the type of energy that we want to have around us. So that's where we're growing. And I think we're heartbroken because we know that's not the type of energy that we want to have around us. And I think we're really disappointed that this other person is so focused on the material goods instead of focused on relationship and person and integrity. All right, next thing we're looking at are those things that we stand for. Okay, so it looks like we're putting a lot of time, effort, and energy into financial security ourselves. And that makes sense. We've got good cards as far as what finances are doing right now. But we are putting in the time and energy and effort. This isn't just like we just won the lottery or we won an inheritance. What do you win an inheritance? Received an inheritance? It's not like that. We're putting in time and effort and energy on this. But it looks to me like we're focusing on financial or material security to the point of almost obsession, to where we're not thinking about other things. And, if we've got a relationship that we feel like is shaky or questionable, this may be what we're doing as a means of escape. Work may be our escape hatch. Focusing on bringing in those pentacles, focusing on bringing in that security, work, or learning about investments. Something going on along those lines. We're kind of obsessed with this right now. And somebody's saying something to us about it. We're having to defend that behavior. How is this other person seeing us? They're seeing us as somebody who's flighty, that they really can't count on us, but at the same time they're seeing us as somebody who is happy and who brings them joy, and they are seeing us as somebody who's lonely, who's missing out on interactions with people. I don't think we're lonely. I think we're happy to escape from whatever that is that's happening. Ship thing. La da da da. La da da da. You know, us Scorpios, we can choose to be alone. Other people don't understand that and don't comprehend that. We can choose to be alone and be perfectly content. Maybe not like forever, but for long periods of time. Other people don't always get that. Next thing we're looking at is that pivot point, or where things flex in this week. We are definitely manifesting some money. We are manifesting money. And there may have been disappointments in the past, but we're not looking at those disappointments. We're focusing on the opportunities that are in front of us. So once again, we're seeing if there's things that are disappointing in our personal life, we're not even really paying attention to that. We're not even looking at it. We're looking at, well, that's okay. I can make money over here. That'll make everything a little bit better. At least this makes me happy to think about, so I'm going to think about this because it makes me happy, you know. And we are manifesting. We're looking at those opportunities that are in front of us, and we're working with them. And we're actually manifesting enough that we're putting some away. We're stashing something away for the future. Now, while we are busy manifesting and not paying attention to disappointments, what else is happening? We're definitely isolating ourselves from somebody where something is not working out and we just don't see how it's going to work out. And so we're playing the hermit. We're isolating from them. We're happy enough to do work. We're happy enough to surround ourselves with the people that are at work with us, but you know, we don't really care to spend time around this person that things are not working out with. We don't see how it's going to work out. And then at the same time, we're in a cycle for sure. Okay, so it looks like somebody is calling on us to restart something, bring something up back from the past. Here, we're trying to isolate from it. Somebody's saying, don't isolate, don't isolate. Come on, let's do this again. We can do better this time. And we're saying, you know what, I got to take a break. I got to think about this before I move forward with this. And I think in that break time, we're finding some happiness. We're finding some peacefulness. We're finding some harmony, some warmth. We're stuck in a cycle, Scorpios. Big time. This is not cool. Not cool at all. So once we get to the end of the week, I do see us coming up. We're showing up as the Death card. You know, we're ruled by Pluto, the underworld, death and resurrection. And it looks to me like we do suddenly decide, okay, I'm done with the break. I'm going to try this again. Collaborating with somebody again. And I think we're even surprised. I think it even surprises ourselves that we decide that we're going to go along with this and we're going to try for this again. Scorpios, what are we doing? We're twisting our own heads up. We got to stop this. We got to put a stop to this. One way or the other. Okay, well, That's our exciting third week of the month, so I'm going to take a break, reset my energy a little bit, and come back and we'll look at the last time frame for this month. Thank you for being here. Hello again, Scorpios. This time we are doing our time frame from August 23rd through the 31st. Let's see if we can get some better things going on here. See what's going on in our lives. Okay guys, let's start with home environment once again. We have taken control back of our home environment. Look at this. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. We have taken control back, and there's a lot of things that we're doing around our home environment that feel really good. Our energy may be a little bit scattered, but we're getting things accomplished. It may be little things here, little things there, making a little progress here, a little progress there. But that just is the way that it's working out, and we're getting some things done here. It looks like we could be very tired because of all the energy that we are putting into the home environment. But it looks like we're getting some nice results from that. So it's a happy kind of tired, I'm sure, from the looks of things. Next thing we're looking at is going to be about our subconscious leanings. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is that there has been this decision that's been made against us that wasn't made fairly. You know, it wasn't fair, it wasn't right, it was corrupt. Okay, and that has caused a lot of confusion for us as far as deciding, okay, well, what do we do next? Where do we go from here? How do we recover from that situation and come out better than when we started? And so your subconscious is really chewing on this and working on this and coming up with ideas for that. I like it. Coming up with ideas about how to be an overcomer. All right, next thing we're looking at is learning style and also communication style. We may actually be literally reading books, maybe even paper books. But definitely there is something coming in here about reading for our learning style, reading the written word, reading books itself. I think there is also a lot of verbal communication that's happening that we are learning from. And we're learning some things just by doing things, by getting out and doing and trying to put the things that we've learned into practice. We're learning even more. So that's nice to see. As far as communication style, we do have some good communication going on. A lot of that communication may actually be in writing, and we are making sure that our communication has integrity, that it is actually truthful. And we're also trying to make sure that everybody who needs to have communication from us gets that communication. We're making sure we're not behind on emails or text messages. We're not behind on communicating with people that we have services with, that we need to pay bills to, or family members. You know, we're just making sure that all the communication that needs to happen, that it is happening. That nothing is, it may be a little bit hectic, but nothing is getting dropped through the cracks. Now, next thing I'm looking at talks to me about work. Looks like we've got some new responsibilities when it comes to work. This could always be about starting a new job or getting a raise or a promotion. This can also be, though, about picking up responsibilities if somebody's out sick or something like that just as easily. It looks like there is some kind of partnership having to do with work that we are separating from. And so I'm not really too worried about this because we are picking up other responsibilities. It may be that we're separating from some kind of company to do our own independent consulting type deal or something that we do on the side for ourselves. that could be going on there, or it could be that there's somebody that we normally work with that we're not being able to see eye to eye with them right now as well. And it feels like there's also somebody in our work environment who could be feeling really blue or depressed because they have a situation or a concern that they don't know what to do with it or how to fix it. All right, let's look at inner work. Inner work is this realization of independence, of just how much power that you have on your own as an individual, and being accountable for that, being accountable for what you're doing with that is the inner work that we have going on right now from the 23rd to the 31st. Anytime I say right now or any other timing tense, it's always going to refer to the time frame that's on the screen in the corner, unless I say that there's a delay, because if it comes up that there's a delay, I'll let you know. But anything else is going to be on, we're talking about the timing that's in the upper corner there. Alrighty, so next thing we're looking at is that part of our personality which is being grown right now. We have somebody that is making some type of personal offer to us, friendship, romantic, whatever. This is not something that's professional. It's something that's in our personal life. And I feel like the person who's doing this may be somebody who, I think it's going to be different for different ones of us. For some of us, it'll be, both ways will be true. But this person is either going to be broke, like doesn't feel like they have any money to spend, or they're going to be broke, like their elevator doesn't go completely to the top. They don't think things through really well. You know, like logic doesn't just always work for them. They've got a lot of, you know, this could be somebody that suffers from PTSD. This could be somebody who's bipolar, but this is somebody who just, they're not capable of thinking things through in a super logical manner all the time. And they don't always realize when they're not, which makes it a little tricky to be around them. So you're receiving some kind of, we're receiving some kind of personal offer from somebody who either is broke money-wise or who has something going on mentally where they're broke. And normally when I have somebody that shows up as being mentally broken, this is just to a small degree. This is not something that like everybody is going to notice as they interact with the person until they get to know that person really well. Okay? And so I feel like as we're receiving this offer from this person, I don't think that we're really happy about, how they're presenting this offer. I think there's something that they're saying or something that they're doing that is a real turnoff for us, or just really puts us off. You know, this could be, you know, they could be offering to be friends again. And, you know, during that offer, maybe they say something like, well, you know, you need me around because I do such and such or whatever. And I don't mean to be big-headed. I don't think any of us mean to be big-headed, but we're the type of personality that if you're in our lives, you're in our lives because we want you there. Not because we need you there, because we're pretty independent ourselves. And so there's something that is implied as this person is making this offer to us, a friendship or a romantic relationship or whatever it is, that's implied that we need them. And I think, quite frankly, that just puts us off. The whole attitude of that is not something that we're gonna tolerate being around us very well, and especially not in any kind of affectionate way. Okay, so that's where we're growing here. That's where our personality is growing and learning how to handle a situation like this with some kind of tact and restraint. La da la da 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 Next, we're looking at those things that we stand for. Whew, baby. There is somebody we are not making any kind of plans for the future for. Not only are we not making any kinds of plans for the future with this person, we are cutting them out of our lives. And this decision is one that it's a final decision. Like, there's no turning back on this. Seems like we have a lot of this. Didn't we have this? Was it last time frame or time frame before that? We're not making any plans with this person, and no, and that's not going to change. Okay? Now, how is this person perceiving us? They think, this is just about laughable. They think that we are going behind their back and talking to the competition, and that we are getting all prepared to go into a heavy-duty commitment or contract with somebody else. That's what they think. That's interesting. That's interesting. Wonder where they got that idea. La da da da. Is that because that's what they would do? All right, let's look at our pivot point or our flex point during this time frame. This is like a week and 2 days, 23rd to the 31st, 9 days. So pivot point during this time frame. There is something fishy going on around us in our sphere of influence, and we know there's something fishy going on, but we're having a hard time putting our finger on exactly what it is. That's making us feel unhappy or dissatisfied. We really don't want to make a decision around the situation because we feel like we don't have all the information, and so we are hanging on. We're just holding out. We're waiting to see because you guys know, sooner or later that information comes out. And if you can stall and wait around to see, then you can wait to make your decision until after you've got all the information. At the same time, what do we have going on? Looking at our home life. We're not feeling very secure in our home life. Now, earlier we saw some pretty positive things about the environment, but here we're not feeling very secure in our home life, even though we have faced a fear or we faced an obsession and we've faced it down, we've beat it, we've conquered it. I think we're feeling a little bit shaky after we did that, though. We're just feeling a little shaky. I think this is permanent. It doesn't have a real heavy energy to me like it could. What else is going on at the same time that we're waiting, holding out for information to make a decision? Oh, we are digging for information. We know, Scorpios are detectives of the universe. We are definitely digging for information during this time. We're not just waiting for this information to float to the surface. We're also digging for it. And as we're digging for it, we are seeing somebody's true colors. And as we see their true colors, their status in our minds has definitely gone down. We've got some disappointment over the things that we found. You know, some people would say that's what you get for digging for information where you shouldn't be, but I don't know. I think I would rather be disappointed by digging for information than have that information come up much later and disappoint me. Either way, it's going to be disappointing. Let's get it over with, right? All right, so how do we see ourselves at the end of this week? We are having some kind of memories about something old that we're feeling pretty sentimental about. Positive memories, memories that we're enjoying. And I think that is because somebody around us has taken some kind of rash action or made a rash decision thinking that they were standing up for something that they believed in, and then finding out later on they didn't have full information to start with. We're not too happy with that. I don't think they're too happy with themselves either. And I think that not only are we remembering how things used to be, I think we're also reminding the other person how things used to be. I don't think we're remembering how things used to be and saying, let's try this again. Let's see if you can do this without making this rash action or this rash decision. Could be something could be something really little. Or it could be that somebody just decided, you know what? Scorpio's not going to know if I cheat on him. Why don't I just do that? And I think because you're not happy about that, you're reminding this person how things used to be. And you may even have an ex that's around Scorpios. There may even be an ex around that we decide, you know what, you're going to treat me like this? I'm going to go back to my ex. They actually treated me better. I enjoyed my time with them more, whatever that is. So we definitely have something going on where we are not happy at all with somebody's actions in our lives. And yet there is somebody from the past that's showing up, completely different scenario. We're happy to see them. Maybe, and I feel like we're happy to see them because this other thing has happened. If this other thing had not happened, we wouldn't really care about seeing the ex. But now, we'd like to have a little comfort. It's nice to see the ex. Nice to have somebody around who values us. Okay? So that's where I see us coming up at the end of the month, Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you also to all of you who put thumbs up on this and who have shared this video with others who may find it helpful. I do appreciate that. On top of that, thank you to those of you who are scheduling private readings with me. I do appreciate all of your support at every single level. The private readings, the Reiki sessions, the likes, the shares, all of that helps me to help more people. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic month, and if I don't see you here for a private reading in between, then I'll see you here on next month's video again.